For the second time in a few days, Bola Tinubu is seeking to block Atiku in a U.S. federal court in Chicago from getting his school records from Chicago State University. Atiku Abubakar is one of his opponents in the just concluded presidential election in Nigeria. Atiku filed this motion because the certificate that Tinubu submitted to the Nigerian Electoral Commission is different from the one that Chicago State University issued at the time. So when Atiku discovered this, he had to subpoena Chicago State University to produce the certificate that they issued Tinubu when he graduated from the university. This, they obliged him at the time, and Atiku went ahead to submit it in evidence in court, where he is currently challenging the election and declaration of Bola Tinubu as president. According to Nigeria's constitution, anyone who presents a forged certificate to the Independent Electoral Commission while contesting for an elective position stands disqualified if it is proven. So based on this, Atiku wants the court to disqualify Tinubu because the certificate he submitted is different from the certificate that Chicago State University issued. While seeking to block Atiku from getting access to his Chicago State University records, Tinubu told the court that he violated his privacy rights. He cited one 1974 privacy law for American students. But Atiku's attorney found it strange that someone that is holding a public office will prevent someone from getting access to his school records, not to talk of a co-contestant in the contested election. On the side of Chicago State University, they are not opposing Atiku's application. They feel they are not obligated to block the access of the school records of Tinubu. Will Tinubu's privacy really be violated if his Chicago State University records are revealed? The answer is no. First of all, let's look at the way it is seen in Nigeria. The moment someone presents himself for an elective position, he will go on to fill his Independent Electoral Commission forms. These forms ask questions about the person, his biodata, his history, his age, schools he attended, and all that. So all that info will become public the moment he submits that form to INEC. INEC is a public institution that conducts election in Nigeria. A candidate in an election can see that information through a court order or subpoena. And in this case, Atiku Abubakar did the same. He subpoenaed INEC to produce these documents, and when they produced it, he compared it with the results he got from Chicago State University. As you can see here, the one on the left is the one that Tinubu submitted to INEC. You can see the official stamp from INEC. The one on the right is the one he received under subpoena from Chicago State University. There's a lot of differences. You can see there are 3 signatures on the one he produced, while there are 2 from the university. You can see the fonts, you can see the heading. Everything is different. So this was what made Atiku Abubakar to seek for further information from the university in the US, because it doesn't make sense that someone who attended Chicago State University can't go back to the same university and say, hey, I lost my university certificates, there was a fire, blah, 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 please, can you give me another one? As simple, they will just give you another one, then that person can use it to submit to INEC in official capacity. So could it be that it wasn't this Tinubu that was enrolled in the university in the first place? He wasn't the one that went through the administrative process. That means he doesn't have all the information required that will be needed to reclaim a new certificate if he were to go back to the university. Yes, this is the likely scenario. Because when you apply to the university to give you a new certificate or even a statement of result, you will definitely be given a form to fill by the university, and the information you submit will prove that you were truly once a student. Now to the real story. Who is the real Bola A. Tinubu? Everyone has a story. Everyone has a past. But when that past will come before you is the moment you step out to contest an election. This is not just applicable in Nigeria, it happens everywhere, in the US, in the UK, everywhere that people contest for elections. Back in 1999, when the Fourth Republic started, many people jumped into the political scene because we were just coming out of many years of military rule. So a lot of people jumped into the political scene. They all wanted to be governors, local government chairmen, even presidents and senators. And as you know, politics is about competition. They will dig into each other's past to see if they will get dirt that they will use in disqualifying each other to get advantage. So a lot of people went digging. That was how it was discovered that the certificate that Tinubu submitted had a lot of problems. His forms were riddled with mistakes and outright lies and forgeries. The first lie that was detected in the governorship form that he submitted to INEC was the secondary school he claimed to have attended in Ibadan. It's a very funny story. In fact, the school, having heard that Tinubu claimed to have attended their school, organized a get-together for the old boys of the secondary school. But while they were still in planning stages of the event, some of the old boys said they didn't know Tinubu. Many of them, when they were asked, none of them knew him. It became an embarrassment to the extent that the school had to cancel the event. It was that strange. So when the news came up, Tinubu now claimed that he wasn't the one that filled the form himself, that he was a friend and associate that filled the form, that he must have made a mistake. That was how he struck off the school from his CV. In this presidential election that he contested, he left out the secondary school position blank. He didn't fill out primary or secondary school. Now, back to the story. Who is the real Tinubu? At the time the Ibadan school scandal broke, there was this rumor in Lagos that Tinubu was adopted and his stepfather had a daughter schooling in the United States. That daughter's name, incidentally, was Bola A. Tinubu. All of a sudden, the daughter passed on, and Tinubu seized the opportunity to travel with her passport to the United States. Back in the 70s, a Nigerian didn't need a visa to the US, the UK, most Western countries. You just bought a plane, land at the airport, you're stamped with 90 days, except you want to stay longer than that. It would seem like he didn't need to do it because Nigerians didn't need a visa to travel to the US in the 70s. But when you consider that she was a resident of the United States, you can understand why he needed to use that passport and the same documents to travel so as to inherit whatever she had. Of course, including the Chicago State University she attended. This story is well known not only in Lagos but Nigeria at large. You can see where Dino tweeted about it. So you can see why Tinubu is blocking Atiku's access to these records, because it will truly reveal the identity of the real Bola A. Tinubu. The identity of this person as regards the school records in Chicago State University was first revealed by Nigeria's investigative journalist David Hundeyin. This was last year before the presidential election. Atiku didn't take it seriously then because he went viral. We also made a video about it because of the gravity of the offense. As an investigative journalist, Hundeyin had to research on all the candidates contesting the presidential election, and one stood out because of his past, having a history of forgeries and scandals relating to documents. But before they revealed that the person that was admitted in the university was female, many people thought that it was just a rumor, that it didn't really happen. But that reveal brought it to limelight. That's why Atiku is now seeking those documents to present to court that the person is an impersonator, that this person wasn't the one that went to the university. Many things will be revealed when these documents are handed down to Atiku, which will ultimately lead to disqualification. There's no two ways about it, because it is in black and white in the Constitution. So you can understand why you can't find any record on Bola Tinubu beyond 1970. You can't find his secondary school mates. You can't find primary school mates. You can't find any information on this name beyond 1970 in Nigeria. It is simply because he dropped his former name and started using this name by the time he traveled to the United States. He once claimed to have worked in Deloitte when he was trying to rationalize how he made millions of dollars while working as an accountant. Deloitte denied ever knowing him, that they searched all their data, all their records. They can't find a former staff member in the name Bola Tinubu. So this case is very simple. Atiku should have taken it very seriously when David Hundeyin made the reveal last year. He should have gathered all this information, got it from the school, notarized them, gotten them ready, because always and every time elections terminate at the courts. Yes, there's always problems. The INEC guys most of the time work for the highest bidder. so the court's decision will always be final. His attorneys at the Presidential Election Petition Court had nothing to counter the forged certificate when it was tendered in court. They only said that there's no oral testimony from Chicago State University present in court to say whether the certificate came from them or not, which is laughable because the real certificate from Chicago State University was attached in the evidence. But come to think of it, going by statements that Tinubu makes, how he talks, especially when he said, "Na statistics will go chop."
That one, I think na statistics will go chop.
That was a jab he threw at Peter Obi, another opponent in the presidential election. With all the massive evidence before the court, his disqualification seems inevitable. And the court already knows this because when a party is actively blocking evidence, is trying to prevent the other party from securing evidence, the court will move with prejudice that the information the party is blocking must be injurious to him, that it will harm his case further. That's why he's blocking the evidence. So that is how it goes. Just like the Independent Electoral Commission, they refused subpoena to appear in court. They refused to tender all the documents required of them, despite these documents being public documents that they are supposed to tender to prove that truly all the results they announce are correct. They failed to provide them. So the court must also move with prejudice that all the information and evidence they blocked, they refused to tender, must be injurious to them, which means they are actively protecting the person they wrongly declared. By refusing to submit all the results required of them by the Labour Party, it can only mean one thing, that they do not want to bring the evidence that will nail them by themselves. It's just like when someone accuses you of something and you oppose him, you guys now end up in court. He brings his evidence. You're about to come and bring your own evidence. Will you bring that evidence that will nail you in court? The answer is no. But if you are innocent, you will willfully tender all documents, including the ones that are not required from you, so as to prove your innocence. They say, clear conscience fears no accusation. You will simply tell, "Hey, my lords, I am innocent. Look at everything. Please free me." That's how it's supposed to be. Imagine INEC claiming that they didn't rig the election, that everything went perfectly, and they are now told, "Hey, bring the evidence, let's check the numbers, let's check the figures." And instead of bringing the results to prove it before the court, they are now saying, "Hey, we don't have the results. No reason was given." In fact, they dodged subpoenas. It's completely laughable. Even the only witness they called against Labour Party, he made this statement in his witness statement. It's laughable after INEC denied that the fact that they didn't upload the presidential election results on election day didn't affect the collation of the results. This is what he said. In paragraph 22 of his witness statement, he said, "I know that the authentic and statutorily prescribed storage portal on which results can be accessed for the purpose of the determination of this petition or review of the election is the IREV portal." So this statement by the witness is in contrast to what they are arguing in court. In fact, it's an acceptance of what the petitioners, the Labour Party, said in their petition. Also in their final address, where they told the court to use these IREV copies that INEC gave them as certified true copies, since these copies are the same with the hard copies and INEC claimed to have used hard copies to collate, that the court should go ahead and use the IREV copies to collate the results. So in essence, INEC came to court to agree with the argument of the petitioners. It can't be better than this. So we all look forward to the judgment day, which shouldn't be more than 2 weeks from now. All eyes on the judiciary. Thanks for watching.